I will. Hello, I'm back. Hi, everybody. Hi. Tina, hello. Tina, hello. No, don't show me posts. I gotta read this. See, this makes me happy. This makes me happy. Seeing an article on PC Gamer, like calling out Nintendo with their recent thing, that makes me happy. It makes me happy to see. Because it's nonsense. I'm glad someone else is looking at it and going, that's nonsense. All right. We're gonna watch at least some of this Monster Hunter developer roundtable, because I'm really interested in what they have to say about the game, because this is the last update. So as far as the game is concerned, going forward from here, it's complete. It's done. So I hate when they do this. I think this is showing old updates. Oh, they have some like behind the scenes music stuff. Oh, hang on. I do want to see this. This is always cool to see. It's always cool to see behind the scenes. Behind the scenes is always awesome. I need to put the link in the Discord. There's a YouTube channel called Paolo from Tokyo, and he does this series called Day in the Life, where he'll follow a Japanese citizen about their day, and he always picks incredibly interesting people, so that you're like, oh, I'm curious what they do. One day he picked like a chef at a ramen restaurant, followed them throughout their whole day. Pick somebody that worked in an office, like a big high-rise office, followed them throughout their day, and then as part of it, it's like, okay, you see how they get ready, see what their routine is, what their travel's like, and then while they're doing work, he like breaks away and he explores the area where it's like, oh, let's go check their office building, all this stuff. He did one very recently where he followed a game planner at Capcom who's working on Street Fighter 6. So number one, you get to see their office space, which is really cool. And then while they were doing some work, he went to like the Foley studio and talked to the Foley guy. And like it's just always like so, and maybe I'm the only one that's interested in this sort of thing. Maybe it's just me who's interested in this sort of thing. But like, it's such a cool behind the scenes look that you never get to see. You never get to see game dev like that. You never get to see what's going on with game dev like that. They're talking about, talking to the battle team of like, how do you balance characters? And he's like, oh yeah, we have a tournament, but then we have a separate tournament for the battle team because we're so knowledgeable about the characters. And talking about like, oh yeah, like I had to cover for somebody on a week back, like all this stuff. It's just so, to me, it's an important part of it because it humanizes the people making games. And I feel like part of the toxicity with gamers overall is they stop viewing games as things made by people and view games that games just appear fully formed out of the ether. And so, they're like, yeah, EA made this game. EA, the massive corporation, made this game, and thus fuck everything involved with it. Where it's like, no, this was very specifically made by people, and have empathy, have compassion to an extent when you're talking about these things, because you're talking about the work of people. Like when we talk about like what's going on with Activision Blizzard, the people at the top making the decisions are the people who suck. The people that are just like, yeah, I'm the sound guy, I'm the modeler, I make these textures. Those people aren't the problem. You know what I mean? Let me get off my soapbox here. We watch this thing. Definitely have to get Brian and Jalen to play more Monster Hunter. That was a Beyblade. We're very excited to announce the new weapon type, a Beyblade. Woo!
Hey everyone, I'm Yozo Tsujimoto, producer on the Monster Hunter series.
I'm Yoshitake Suzuki, the director on Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak.
It's almost been 1 year since the release of Sunbreak on June 30th.
Wow, it has been a year.
A lot of players have decided to continue their adventures from Rise, and we are very thankful for
I think I saw Monster Hunter Rise has sold 12 million copies, which is bananas.
But today is going to be the last digital event.
So without further ado, let's have a look at the latest trailer.
Enjoy.
Hold it.
The amount of support that Capcom gives Monster Hunter games is incredible. On the other side, there's a sentiment of support the devs from larger games where the devs don't see any money from any additional sales because surprise devs don't. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I've started to push back on that on some people where it's like, you have to support the devs. And it's like, no, the devs are paid. You buying a copy of the game doesn't do jack for them. I recognize her. That's the lady that likes cute things. That's correct. That is accurate. Primordial Malzeno. All that money goes straight to the publisher.
Version 16 available on June.
Let's wait until they're done talking for a second.
We'll add the final monster, Primordial Malzeno.
Well, yeah, that's what we're talking about, so I'll just pause it. So, I was talking about this on a Facebook page, right? Where we were talking about emulation and piracy. And we've talked about this a billion times, but my opinion, just quick and dirty, there's nothing wrong with emulation. Emulation shouldn't be illegal. I mean, emulation isn't illegal, right? The act of emulating a game. I don't view having a game that you cannot buy as piracy, right? If I can't go to a store in any sense of the word, whether it be a physical store or a digital store, and exchange currency for that game, I don't view that as piracy, right? That's the long and the short of it. I believe that if you can buy a game, you should, right? Because, and I don't count secondhand in that, right? I don't count going to eBay and paying $1,500 to someone else that isn't the company for that, right? I don't count that. So when we talk about emulation and piracy and stuff, when people talk about Switch games specifically, I'm of the opinion that if you can buy a game, you should, right? Whether or not you want to pirate a Switch game because you can't afford it or you don't want to, that's a decision you have to make for yourself. But I believe if you can buy a game, you should. If you want to play a game and support the company that made it and be like, hey, I like this game, I'd like to see more of this game, the way to do that is to buy the game, right? The way that you show your support in the most direct, real way is to buy the game. If it's essentially inaccessible, it's basically lost. There was a great video that came out that was like 5 lost Pokemon games you didn't know about, and I was like, most of them, most Pokemon, most Pokemon games are lost. Like a vast majority of Pokemon games are lost games because you can't. What am I gonna do? I want to play Pokemon Black. What am I gonna do? Nothing. Too bad. I want to play Pokemon Ultra Moon. What am I gonna do? Too bad. And so I said that. So I said what I just said, right? Where it's just like emulation is fine. You know, pirating older games is not an issue. And if you like a game, if you want to see more of a game, you should buy it and support the company. And gamers went off. Gamers went nuts. Where I'm like, you know, they were like, yeah, fuck the publisher. The publisher shouldn't get any money. I'm like, what are you talking about? The publisher is the company that paid to make the game, right? Who do you think in the developer publisher relationship, who do you think paid the developer? Where do you think the money that the developer got came from? Now, there are some times that, you know, I don't know like the ins and outs and specifics of that, but it's like the publisher is who publishes it. They front the money for the development of the game. And then they are the company who makes the money on the sales of the game. Gamers understanding content cycles and development. Shock. Yeah. Like, yeah, never going to happen. And so it's like, if you like a game, but don't buy it, don't be surprised when they don't make more of that game, right? People always talk about like, why didn't they make more of whatever? Because nobody bought it. They're not going to take a financial risk on the sequel to a game. That's why it's bananas that we're getting like Dragon's Dogma 2, right? Because I don't think that game sold very well. But they're taking a risk on the kind of like the burgeoning fandom. Like Dragon's Dogma has a very vocal fandom, but I don't think it's sold very well, right? Other examples are like the Phoenix Wright games and the Professor Layton games. Those didn't sell incredible, but they sold good enough, and they continued to make those games, and like that's great. We should be happy for that. It may have sold well in Japan. Hang on, let me look at my phone, because I obviously can't Google it over here. But like, it was very funny to me how like angry people got at me that I dare say that if you want to see more of a game, you should buy the game to support the company, right? It's just it's very funny how upset everybody got. Capcom's very good at cultivating its fandom. That's part of their business strategy. Yes. Capcom is incredible at building those small so we're talking about here, right? With the support for Rise. The support for Rise for free has been amazing, right? Gamers get all bent out of shape when it's like, yeah, there's like a $3 DLC pack. I can't. And you're like, what are you talking about? Don't buy it then. You got so much over here for free that they're like, hey, if you want to spend $3 on this thing, that's there, you know. Look what Capcom is doing as a dev with Street Fighter 6. Oh my gosh, yeah. Everything that I've seen for Street Fighter 6 has been great. As a person who doesn't like fighting games, everything I've seen from Street Fighter 6 has been great. Helix, welcome back. Paradox is very good about post-launch support too. People don't realize like that is free. That is like active loss on their part. You know what I mean? Or like if they do anything for free after a game, that's on the hopes that it continues to sell more copies, right? You do that work in the hope, and you usually can only do that if you are a developer who's also a publisher, right? And you're like, This is, oh my god, day one DLC is another conversation that would take forever, but
Originally, Amatsu, which was added in Title
Oh.
5, was supposed to be the final monster.
Yes, but we decided to do a bonus
It just-
update to
ugh.
introduce Primordial Malzeno,
Ugh.
improve armor augmentation with new slots, and add several new decorations into the mix.
this looks great. I could go on forever
Available
about how
five, the story centers around the village
about how angry gamers make me. People just impossible of like
bonus update
basic sense and basic empathy.
to the age-old relation between Malzeno and the kingdom. You can take on Primordial Malzeno from MR10 or higher. We hope you look forward to seeing its new moves and ecology.
Very happy I decided to go for gyoza dumplings for lunch. Oh, that sounds good.
And armor using its materials as well.
Yo, look at these
Don't
looks.
miss out.
Clean. And they're doing an event quest. Hell yeah.
After the bonus update, there will be new event quests until July 27th, 2023.
Holy shit.
These event quests will be very tough and provide a solid challenge. You can earn a variety of rewards, such
Wow.
as armor. So we hope you try to complete as many as you can.
As far as paid DLC goes, as of version 15, the total lineup is complete. But version 16 will introduce DLC packs with a variety of themes for an affordable price.
They're gonna do bundles, I
We
guess.
hope you take this opportunity to try some of it out.
Nice.
Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak are also available on Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, Windows, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 4.
My biggest complaint for Rise is that there's no crossplay.
And 16, including Primordial Malzeno, will release as a single title update as shown on screen.
I think that's my biggest
For more info,
my biggest complaint with it is that it's not cross-platform.
we are now joined by Yasunori Ichinose.
Not having cross-platform play is annoying. I think is
Mr.
the
Ichino,
biggest
say
complaint.
hello.
I was gonna do my own introduction, but good to see you, everyone. I'm Yasunori Ichinose, director on Monster Hunter Rise.
I think this is going to be the last digital event for Rise and
I just assumed it was since it was available on everything. No, it's not. Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem.
Talk as well.
I think that's because a lot of people got it on Switch, and you can't play with people on PC.
The community in real time.
Subject of gamers being bereft of thinking people are surprised Armored Core 6 isn't going to be open world.
Has there been anything that caught your eye?
Yeah, gamers shocked that games aren't the same.
Canines for the first time. We got a lot of reactions saying how cute they were.
Wait, you mean an Armored Core game is going to be Armored Core?
Some people wondered, what's this monster based
It's going to be an Armored Core?
If they're going to bring back this monster, what yokai is it going to be based
Oh, that makes sense.
on? And I was surprised at how many people guessed it right.
I didn't know monsters were based on yokai. That's really
To
cool.
watch.
That's
What about you,
neat.
Mr. Suzuki?
For Sunbreak, I decided to bring back a monster from Monster Hunter Frontier, Espiness, as I'm sure you're aware. When we announced this, we got so much fan feedback that the term even started trending for a while.
That's a cool looking monster.
Nobody saw that one coming.
We pretty much had to recreate him from scratch, and the staff was very particular about getting him right.
That's a cool looking monster.
For Sunbreak, you even took to social media yourself to comment on some things directly. What was that like? Did you have any plans?
Well, I can't disclose any specifics about the main features in advance, of course. But
Oh, look at that
I wanted to
art.
reveal some things before each update to get the fans excited about new upcoming features. I wanted them to imagine what kinds of things
That
were
art was so
coming up.
cute.
So occasionally I'd let some pretty big hints slip through. Of course, you have to be very careful. Like, how much can I say? Can I get away with this without getting yelled at? When I was treading on thin ice. But I mainly focused on info tying into the next update, while mixing in a variety of trivia. We also released some illustrations hinting at new monsters on Twitter and stuff.
I can see how people would think they'd take the game in that way, but them saying they wanted to keep it traditional stage design makes sense to the overall series. I'm happy they're doing it traditional for sure.
No.
I think there's a point, right, where you're like, oh, they're making a game. I wonder if it's going to be like the games they've been making.
So I asked if I could have them.
But then when
I just put them up like that.
But then when they come out and say, we're making it this way, this is what it's going to be,
Monster will be in the game.
there were still so many people that would be like, I don't know, I think they're gonna trick us, you guys. I think it's gonna be like Elden Ring. And you're like, what are you doing? They very specifically said how it's gonna be.
Mr. Ichinose actually provided a lot of backup.
Like, it's gonna, they very specifically have said.
So it wasn't just me doing it alone. But Mr. Ichinose.
Yeah, I think there's absolutely space for Armored Core to be how Armored Core was, you know. Not every game needs to be open world.
For some reason, my schedule just said recordings. Nobody ever told me anything about what we were doing.
Yeah, we wanted you to show up in some of our clips.
This is great. This is
So
great.
When we were making Sunbreak, I approached Mr. Suzuki with some ideas of my own. Like, hey, it would be great.
Would I be excited for AC6? AC6 if it was open world? Yes. Am I excited for it to be level based? Yes. Do I like more and more AC games? Yes. I don't know if I would be as excited for it if it was open world. Like, I think I'm happier that it is the traditional level based design than I am with it being open world. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm most excited, like, I'm very excited we're getting more Armored Core games. Yes. But I think I'm happier that it's sticking to the traditional format overall.
And haven't noticed yet. You should try playing again and paying attention to the details.
You know?
From the beginning?
Yep, from scratch.
I see.
There's a lot of variety. It's really cool.
Both Rise and Sunbreak have very colorful NPCs. Do you have any particular favorites among the cast?
I think I'd like to hear from Ryozo before we answer.
Yes, me too.
All right, I'll go first. I would pick Bahati from Sunbreak. He's pretty involved in the story, and I like how he looks like a brilliant scientist, but he's actually kind of goofy. And he's in a lot of cutscenes.
You know, it's like Monster Hunter, right? Monster Hunter World was kind of open world.
What about you two?
And I think there were things in World that I really liked they didn't do again in Rise.
That is, right?
Of course, of course.
These creatures consume life.
Of course I know him.
That
These creatures consume life.
I think
You have to say that twice.
was
These creatures consume life.
was a step back for Rise to go back to a traditional format.
It's a cutscene that seems so
But-
significant, right?
I don't know, I didn't mind it. You know what I mean?
We did.
That's correct.
It was an easy-to-use line.
I think there were like mechanical things in Rise or in World
The fact
that I think should have came back. I think it made sense for a Switch game. Yeah, I think it was a performance choice because it was on the Switch. You know, I don't know if you could make a game like World on the Switch.
completely equally. And you can tell
Left in all the things from World that were important.
for his favorite pupils.
I think World was an interesting like push forward for this for the series. You know, World let them do a bunch of different things.
Sent in Valentine's chocolate for Master Utsushi.
And I think that's fine every so often, you know?
He asked one of the designers to make a thank you illustration. So every time she would draw something super fast a couple of days in advance, and every time we would put it up on social media.
But
That's right.
I think Rise has done some really cool stuff.
Considering that you've been working on
I think
these
Rise has
games for
done some
so
really cool
long,
stuff as well.
There must have been a lot of ideas that ended up not making it in.
Yeah, whenever they share art like that, it's always so cool to see.
Ones
I
you
love...
can talk about?
I'm not sure I can talk about any of them.
No? Then anything you can just share a little bit of?
I think World was the big stretch, and Rise was how do we do all that stuff in a way that's true to Monster Hunter? Right. How do we've gone all the way out here with World, and it's very different, and it's very, you know, we've changed a lot of systems, and we've just kind of taken it in a completely different way. And then Rise is like, how do we use some of those ideas in the traditional format? You know, how do we
be doing all the talking next to him? So, for instance, she'd say, we have to hunt this monster next. And she'd explain how to fight it and then go, right, Admiral? And he'd just nod with a grunt. And she'd go, understood, Admiral. Now, let us sally forth. Fierce flame.
Hey, artists, can you do fan art of our characters because our fans are really sweet?
With Fiorain just looking for the right answers from someone who doesn't talk. Which doesn't make for a compelling conversation, so we axed it.
Perfect middle ground and making the old meet the new. Yeah, I'm curious.
Inside Bahari's research lab, right?
There's always something about like what's the next game,
You could talk to him from atop the roof.
you know?
And it would show his name. So I was like, he has a name? Of course he was removed later, but I was impressed at how detailed it was.
That he even had a name.
Yeah, it should be gone now though.
Thorough bug checker.
You can talk to him from up there?
Hey, Suzuki, why can I talk to this guy?
Today's show is a special occasion to bring you new information about the bonus update, which is why we invited Mr. Ichinose and Mr. Suzuki over. And I'm glad we were able to share all of this with you.
I figured we have like a year and a half
Have a final comment.
before we see more Monster Hunter news.
Since Rise was released, we've been getting lots of fan feedback on social media.
I wonder if it's if it's gonna be a world game. If they said they're gonna do a world
We are
2,
very thankful for that.
I'd be very
All of us
curious.
here on the dev team will keep doing our best to deliver quality content to you. So we hope you keep enjoying the game for a long time to come. Thank you very much.
I was handed the baton from Rise and got to work on Sunbreak, and I've been overwhelmed by all of the positive comments, which have.
I think this development model works out really well for them, where they release the base game and they support it, and then they release an expansion, and then they support the expansion a bit, and then they're like, and we're good. I think there's absolutely something to be said for even a multiplayer game like being feature complete, and then it's like, yeah, you can just keep playing it.
Monster Hunter Rise was released, and about 1 year since the release of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak.
You know,
We are all very thankful for the.
I think as long as they keep the servers up for a reasonable amount of time, like,
Here on the development team, thank you very much. Next year will be the 20th anniversary of the Monster
oh
Hunter
geez, never mind. We're definitely getting news next year.
new and exciting games.
We're getting some kind of news next year.
Continue to support us in the future as well.
Wow.
I'd like to close things off with our usual chant. Happy hunting!
Oh, are they gonna play all the trailers? Oh no, okay. 22.5 million characters. Oh my gosh. So March 26, 2021. Oh, I love this of showing off like statistics. I loved this game. As someone who played a lot of Monster Hunter early on in the PSP games, I enjoyed World. Rise really got me. Rise brought me back in a big way. Can we do a synchronized chant at the end of every stream? Boo, hello. Oh, sure, yeah. That's not surprising that Magnamalo was the #1 most hunt monster. Serpent Goddess of 62 million times. The Dragon Eater's a real scam. 3.3 billion bunny dog. Ah! Oh my gosh. This is such a cool thing to track. Gosh, I forgot you could get total beat. What? Yeah. Yeah, I gotta bully Brian and Jalen to play more Rise. I played a bit of World, didn't stick with it. I think it's because I was playing solo. I think World was more approachable solo than other Monster Hunter games have been. But every Monster Hunter game always has that point, at least for me, where you really want to play with other people, you know? Wow. Oh, sure, anomaly investigations. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh! Oh, the number of cards? The number? Rise for me was good solo. World was hard to get through solo. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh, what are the most popular? 6.8. This is awesome. 21%? Wow. %21 is bananas. Lance, 3. Come on, Gun Lance. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Yeah, 3.2. We beat Lance. I can't believe Longsword is so high. I can't believe Longsword is so high. Yo, that horn is dope. I can't believe horn is only 3.6. That seems so low. These seem so low. 11.5 for light bowgun, sure. They're all in horny jail. Light bowgun is 3rd. Like what? For someone who doesn't play, why is Longsword being high a surprise? It's not that it's high. It's not surprising that it's high. It's that it's so much higher than everything else. You know? It's that it's so much higher. Like Longsword is a good weapon, but oh my god, this had better be. Longsword is super easy to get used to. That's true. Oh, look at all the pictures. Oh, look at all. Oh, this makes me happy. This. Oh, this makes me so happy. To me, it's the intro weapon, kind of the base one they start you with. Surprising, a lot of people got that, stuck with it. Also, such a huge percentage. Yeah, it's that it's so much higher. Turns out when the game hands you one at the start and it says, "Oh, this feels fine. Why would I change it?" Never do. People don't like do the hard work of playing with real weapons. Oh, that. That made me happy. That made me happy. Seeing all the multiplayer pictures. Yeah, it's that like everything was just or that it was so much higher than everything else compared to stuff like Hammer and Brian just mad he can't hit with the sweet counters. Oh, is the DLC on sale on Xbox right now? Or will it be on sale later? Let's see. I like Switch Axe builds. Charge Blade is fun. Everybody has like their weapon that they really like, you know? Can you go to the game? I'm searching for the game. Can you go to the game? Thank you. Oh yeah, the game is on sale. The game is on sale. Oh, well, I can't see anything because I'm not logged in. So whatever. Yeah. All right. That was Is Rumble Roses, that's Konami, that's different. Let's see. Oh yeah, a lot of some of the DLC is like Game Pass percentage off, but it's not on sale yet. That was cool. That made me happy to see. What just a nice thing to be like, yeah, here's info on the thing. And oh, here you go. Okay, this is for Brian. This is for Brian. This is for Brian. This is because I know what I have to do sometimes. I thought Matt was about to hit us with a surprise Rumble Roses drop. Oh, this is for Brian. I'm going to play Rumble Roses. Yeah, I have not bought a 360 copy of Rumble Roses. The character creator in this game is, I think, like, this should not be overlooked. I don't like the gacha elements, but you can't say they don't let you create a lot of characters. I'm sorry, what? I've been watching them work on this for a while. This is bananas. That's ridiculous. So far, this looks like Weeb Sims. Yeah, like, yeah. Note, some premium items available. Some premium items. Some premium items. Oh, here's that video, Data Life, where he's talking to a game player. There it is. Yeah, I gotta watch that. Oh man, what? Hang on. Before we get anything, hang on. Have you seen the game where you're trapped in an IKEA store? You mean the game where IKEA sued the developer? Only problem I have with PSO2 is they're heavy into premium content. It's locked behind gotcha scratch tickets. Look at this! Hang on, we're not to the part that I'm excited about yet. I mean, this looks great. Yo! Look at that! You play Usagi Yojimbo! Oh, you can play a Splinter? That's cool. I'm into this. I'm into that. I love Usagi Yojimbo. That's hype. That's hype. It's funny, it's IKEA throwing their weight around. Yeah, it's such a weird thing to like be upset about too. Such a weird thing to be upset about too. Oh, Gab's gonna be on the Wholesome Direct. Look at that. Gab's gonna be on the Wholesome Direct. That's neat. That's neato. Splinter and April were playable from day one, if I recall correctly. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know. Excuse me. All right. Well, what? What else should we do with stream? I never know. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Drawing time? Oh, I do have the drawing. Don't. Fine. I was gonna say, I was like, don't bully me about the drawing, but that's not fair. That's not fair. I have drawings to do. And I should do them. All right, let me, this were my stream, I probably end up playing Dwarf Romantic. Let me do the game request things really quick. Let's see, Facade gets 1. Facade's probably gonna be the most requested game. Like, in terms of like individual votes for it, which is very funny to me. Tomba. Boop. Final Fantasy 9. Boop. We're adding Project X Zone. It's a good game. I like Dwarf Romantic. I should play some more. I'm a Midnight Suns only streamer now. Saint streams nothing but Midnight Sun challenge runs now, so. All right, Helix voted for Final Fantasy 9. I think Tomba is on this page. Control's getting up there. Same brain, you did it. You did it. I like Control's steady rise. Yeah, this is kind of exactly what I wanted to happen with this. This is exactly what I wanted, where it's just like, yeah, like there's games on there and the ones that people want to see are gonna bubble to the top. You know, and there's stuff on there that you know, we will play eventually, theoretically. It's a game's meritocracy. And what I like is if I want to play a game, I can just put it on the list, or I can just be like, hey, guess what? We're gonna play this, you know. So yeah, new top game is Project X Zone. Poke is responsible for both of the top games. Poke is responsible for both of the top games right now. I just want to throw that out there. I'm enjoying Deathloop. I appreciate something I think you brought up, even though I'm shooting humanoids, they kind of phase out of existence. Yeah, and it's not that you can't have a game that Poke needs to chill. You know, it's not that, you know, you can't have a game that deals with gun violence and addresses gun violence, and, you know, and that's part of it, but there are games where it feels less serious, less overbearing, because it's not, you know, you're not blowing someone's head off, you know, you're not blowing them away. Poke doesn't need to shell, you just need to save up. Damn. Helix with the facts. I know everyone loves Bioshock. Had a whole time getting past the. Oh yeah. Hard time getting past the violence to enjoy it for so long. You're absolutely right. You are honestly that's a big thing I think that sticks out about that game that people don't talk enough about, is like that game is visceral. The game is visceral in a very real way. Like for me, there's less reveling in the spectacle of it. Thank you, Saint, for putting words to exactly like my feeling. You know what I mean? Like the reveling in it, the spectacle of it, right? And it's not that you can't have a game that does that and have that be an important part of it. It's that every game doesn't need to, right? You know, when I think about Bioshock now, it is really close to Evil Within for me. Bioshock is a game that is extremely horror adjacent. That I don't think gets brought up enough. Like there's a very real horror element in Bioshock that I think it loses some in 2, and then it's gone entirely by Infinite. Like Infinite is not horror in anywhere the same way. I remember hearing a game dev talk about why they didn't have more realistic death in shooting games. It was upsetting. It turned a lot of players away. I mean, you even think about games that are shooters, you know, even games that are like, we are a game where you shoot mans, and most of them don't have very, very realistic, like, part of what I appreciate about Fortnite and why I'm able to play Fortnite for long periods of time is when you shoot somebody, they go and they're fine, whatever. Nothing, you know what I mean? Even in Halo, where you have like some blood, it's just like, whatever, you know, bad blood. You know, it's much more of an action feel, you know? So, oh, new trailer for something. Oh, they're making, as I recall, this dev was working on a gritty military shooter. Okay, hang on. Destiny, oh, we'll revive in 6 seconds. Don't worry, we're immortal. Honestly, my favorite part of Destiny. So this just popped up.
He is probably the most well-known game creator in the world. Oz Chocolate Factory with Willy Wonka.
誰もが見たこともないものを作りたいんですけども、人は自分でプロデュースをするしかない。
Haven't played System Shock. I'm not surprised that Bioshock horror adjacent, even though its criticism of objectivism is that, of course, it gets top billing. I appreciate when games give you the option to turn off blood. In that aspect, I love. Yes.
Hundreds of millions of dollars in investment with wanting to stay true to your vision. That's like playing Russian roulette with 6 bullets.
The risk is it's too radical. And that's where the creative courage comes in.
Launched his own game studio. Nothing else happened. Yeah, that was it. That's all that happened. All that happened is he decided to launch his own studio. That was it.
To make meaning out of life. And that's why his work is so important.
Mr. Hideo Kojima.
It's the obligation of any artist to push boundaries.
子供の頃から妄想癖があって、未来を見たというか、テクノロジーが世界をつなぐっていうかね。
I'm gonna watch this movie, but I'm probably gonna be mad about it. I'm gonna watch this, 'cause it's a movie, by the way, because I don't think they said. I'm gonna watch this, but I'm probably gonna be mad about it. Hideo games aren't a collaborative medium, Kojima. Yeah. This has been bothering the shit out of me the whole trailer. I think it's very funny to call do you know what? It is so very video games to say that Hideo Kojima is games only auteur. It is just exactly everything that is wrong with video games to look at a guy who they said first, not only. Oh, okay. Even more wrong. Also wrong, but good correction. Good correction. Also wrong. I agree with you, but yeah, no, listen, yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate the correction because that's a different conversation. That's a different conversation. Artor in general makes me roll my eyes regardless of the medium. Yes. Gosh. It is really difficult to talk about Hideo Kojima because I do believe that Hideo Kojima represents a lot of like artistry, a lot of positive artistry in games, right? I think a lot of the games that he has worked on and produced are artworks in the space of gaming, right? Even in saying that all games are art, I believe that a lot of the games that he has created are high bars in the medium writ large, right? And that he has done, I don't know about his thing where he says like, I want to show people things they've never seen before. You're doing a bad job of it because a lot of your games are very realistic in their presentation. So I don't know about that. Disrespecting the hell out of, say, Sid Meier. Oh yeah, right. It's also obvious aspects of the game where he's really feeling himself and no one had the power to say, let's think of something else to do. I think that's an incredibly important part of it, right? I think that's an incredibly important part of it. You can say a lot about what happened between him and Konami. I think a very important part to remember about what happened between him and Konami is the reason Konami got mad at him was he was being a shit. He was being a shit and being like, I'm Hideo Kojima. I can do what I want. And they were like, no, we have to keep this game to budget because we're trying to be a business. And he was like, no, I'm Hideo Kojima. I do what I want. It's and then the company was a total shit, and like blackballed him and a lot of other people. So, I think it's really difficult to have a conversation about Kojima because there is like the very real amount of like work and artistry and like amazing stuff that he's created in games. Like, I don't think there are few games that are as cinematic in very real ways as the Metal Gear Solid games. There are few games that are as like densely written, and you know, as the Metal Gear Solid games, right? There are a few games where like characters have as much characterization and as much life as Metal Gear Solid games. Not none, but few. There's not that many. Him and Konami's a match made in hell. They also deserved each other. But I think it is an absolute mistake. And as I said, so video games. It's so video games to be like, well, obviously that was the work of one guy. Obviously that was the work of this one guy the whole time. What, 7 games? Obviously the work of one man. Trout, hello. Trout, thank you so much for the resub. Holy cow. It really means a lot to me every time y'all come back and resub or gift a sub or something. Like, I cannot overstate like how much it absolutely means to me. Movies do the same thing with bid directors. It drives me up a wall. And like, there's so much more information about how movies are made. And so you know that that's not the case, right? Oh. Okay. I want to watch it. Do you know what I mean? I want to watch it. I'm curious, right? I love behind the scenes stuff. Or Star Wars. If I hear one more people talk about how Dave Filoni saved Star Wars. And see, this is why this is such a difficult conversation, right? That's a great example. I think Dave Filoni has done great stuff with Star Wars, right? I think the stuff that Dave has worked on has been great. I enjoy the way he thinks about Star Wars. I also am sick to death about people who say that Dave Filoni saved Star Wars when, one, it's just because he's a man. It literally, listen, I think Dave Filoni is great. I think the reason they say Dave Filoni saved Star Wars is because they don't consider that there are other people in charge, namely Kathleen Kennedy, who's a woman, who are like working with him, and are like approving the things that he's doing or approving him being brought on projects or any of this stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, it's exhausting. It's exhausting to try to have an actual conversation to say, I think that this person is good and has done good work, but also y'all are so up his ass about it that it makes me feel awkward about it. Do you know what I mean? It makes it difficult for me to talk about it and have a real conversation. Because then there's all the people that are reactionary, right? There's all the people that are reactionary and are like, oh, well, no, Dave Filoni sucks, right? Editor values, producers, actors, editors, casting. Right. Like, putting all of that work or acting like all of those decisions are made by one person is false. It's a collaborative effort, right? how does casting work? Well, people in casting have their picks, and then probably like them and Dave and the producers and someone at corporate get together and have their picks and see who can work. People really, I think, undervalue how much scheduling goes into whether or not people are in a show. Like, I really think people undervalue the fact that it's like, I wonder how many times this has happened with Star Wars and Marvel things where they go, hey, I'm such and such from Marvel. We'd love for you to be Doctor Doom in the new movie. And that person goes, okay, well, when would it be happening? And they're like, September to June would be primary production. And it's probably not that long, but just, September to March would be principal filming. And you would be expected to be available during all the time. And then we'd have it until like May for reshoots and special effects. And then, June if it gets really bad. And someone just being like, oh, no, I can't. No, I'm already signed on to do a project. Or, I just had a child and I don't want to spend that first year away from them. Or any number of reasons. Like, I wonder how often that happens and it's just like, oh, okay, well, cool. See ya, I would love to know. I would love to know. Home movies have been killed by a big name being busy. Oh, man. I like this. I like when we can talk about like what's going on with like, so what drawings do I have? I only have one. Tyler and Kane is in politics is an absolute shithead. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Accurate. Sadly. Movie or properties magic is made by the choreography, the composers, the writers, the actors, whether voice actors, live action, producers, editors. Right, yeah. Like an incredible amount of people.